Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and I have a stud edge rusher for you guys to meet today. His name is Byron Vaughns. He is out of Baylor, also out of a couple different schools, Utah State as well as Texas. Dude's been around. So, Byron, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself. Go ahead and introduce us and tell us where you're from.
Yeah, so my name is Byron Vaughns. I'm from Fort Worth, aka Funky Town, Texas, born and raised. I have four younger siblings, 13 down to two. And that's a big age gap for me, myself, and I have mom and dad that have been supportive throughout the whole process.
Cool. So, I have in my notes that you attended Eastern Hills High School there in Fort Worth, Texas. Was a multi-sport athlete doing damn near everything, man. Basketball, baseball, track and field, football. I'm pretty sure if there's any other sport, you probably did that one too. But uh, go back in the day, man. Talk to us a little bit about what it was like to, play for Eastern Hills.
Yeah, no, Eastern Hills was a smaller school with not a lot of wins in any sport, unfortunately, but it builds character to get worked up on the way we did sometimes. But yeah, like you said, I played football. I mean, that's my first love. In the off season, I didn't feel like doing conditioning, so I just went, shot some free throws, some layups, and fouled out by halftime. On my off time, I like to. I've ran track all my life, so it's kind of just in me if I want to go run track or not. But I try to usually try to skip track practice and just go straight to the meets, but it doesn't work like that. Uh, and I tried that. I tried to skip track practice by playing baseball. I played baseball for 2 weeks, and I realized that those little kids that I thought we could beat up on, they're throwing some heat down the middle. And baseball wasn't my sport, so it was a 2 week ordeal that I wanted to try. I like to challenge myself in any sport, anything different. So it's all fun.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, did a whole lot of everything. Certainly can't skip that practice though. Uh, you know, uh, want to go ahead and just say right out, at least on my end, and confess there were a couple times when a handful of us at the track team, instead of running, we just went and shot around some basketball for a little bit. So, hey, people do it. But yeah, I mean, just kind of getting back to it again. Played a lot of different sports, but again, like you said, football was your love. So, what is it about the game of football that you love the most?
I grew up with two cousins, and not being able to fight them all the time, I learned to tackle them instead. So that's kind of my thing. Even in flag football, it's fun tackling people. You think you're faster than me, I can chase you down. It brings out a lot of emotions and helps you learn the self control throughout life. And I look at football as a lot of valuable lessons it's taught me just for life and growing up. So that's kind of why it's my first love, because I've been through everything. I've cheated on football. Football has cheated on me. We got back together. It's a whole little relationship going on.
It definitely is a wild drama there, man. It's worth a movie almost. Uh,
Most definitely.
Byron, obviously, very interesting prospect coming out of high school. Garnering interest from a whole lot of different schools. End up starting your collegiate career at Texas. I think a lot of guys growing up in Texas. I mean, you want to play for the Longhorns. Let's be real. And so that was your first go. You gave that a go, and talk a little bit about that school. I know you weren't there for too long, but I mean, any major influences or good things you have to say about your time there?
Most definitely. Texas was, well, I like to say Sixth Street. Austin, Texas was a time for a young man coming out of high school. You have a lot of fun. You meet a lot of new people that you probably wouldn't run into just on the regular day, because they say keep Austin weird, and you learn to be yourself and embrace people for who they are out there in Austin. So that's something that I definitely enjoyed, and I have a handful of friends that were at Texas that are now in the league, whether it's Keontae, DeMarvion, Keandre, Joseph. I have a handful of people in my class that I still talk to, and we're good friends. So leaving Texas was definitely it wasn't a bad thing, but it was bittersweet to say goodbye to my friend.
Yeah, I mean, you're amongst these guys, let's be real, they're 4 and 5 star athletes. I mean, it's kind of hard at times when you have all this great talent around you to even see the field, and even get, much out of it. So I think in the long run, probably a little bit better to step out of that shadow and transfer out to a program that's willing to use you a little bit more, obviously in Utah State, which is where I seriously feel like, dude, you made your mark on the college scene. People started to really notice you and saying, hey, this guy could play in the league. So talk about the transfer to Utah State and really some good times that you had there.
Yeah, so Utah State was definitely fun. It was hard being 22 hours away from parents, but like I said, it builds character and it may kind of help me mold who I am today. Um, Utah State was fun. The fact I love to snowboard, so anything outdoorsy. But if it was just dry land and it was a hill, some grass, I had some friends with a snowboard and we'll go down the grass. Everything was outdoorsy, and that's kind of the guy I am. I had a construction job during the season, and people look at it like, "Oh, you got a job," but it was really just fun going to work and lifting pallets, putting them back down, watching how houses are built and everything. So Utah kind of set me up for what I want to do after football, uh, and it just kind of fell into Waco, fell into Baylor.
Dude, I find it very interesting that a kid from Fort Worth likes to
Yeah,
snowboard. That has got to
snowboard.
be
Yeah.
one of the weirdest things that I've ever heard.
There's no
But
mountains out here in Texas.
yeah, there's no
Yeah.
way, there's no way to do that. Maybe if you go down to the ocean a little bit, I mean, you might
Yeah,
be able to ride
yeah.
some waves or something. But
Wakeboards,
that's a
yeah.
bit of a drive from Fort Worth.
Most definitely. Yeah.
That's what, like, I'm trying to imagine that in my head. Is that like 6 hours or something?
Yeah, if I went to what beach is that?
It's like
South Padre. Yeah, if I went to
like
South
down
Padre,
past Tyler, stuff like that.
yeah.
I
It's
mean,
definitely a drive to get there.
yeah, I mean it's a drive, so definitely a different atmosphere, of course. Which again, I felt like that is where you really made a splash. You really you know setting yourself apart. I mean, dude, let's just face it. One of the things that I feel you do have going for you as a prospect is your size. Let's be real. I mean, we're looking at a guy with, dude, you have an excellent wingspan. It is almost freakish.
Yeah.
That, dude, I heard you have like an 83-inch wingspan, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I know your weight's been fluctuating, lately. So, I mean, where are you at with that? Because I don't even want to guess.
Yeah, right now, I weighed in pro did 228, but 2 days later I'm 232. My weight kind of uh goes how my bank account goes, So in Utah, it was kind of hard financially, and also when I lost a lot of weight after I left Utah State. I put on 20, 30 pounds and was playing at 245. So
So,
yeah,
we have a guy who, be honest with you, man. I mean, you're a bit of a unicorn. I mean, you have this body type which is somewhat unique. And so we're looking at a guy who could be an outside linebacker, who could be a defensive, a guy who could even put his hand in the dirt as a defensive end. So I've seen both. I've seen you do both. I know you can do it. But I don't know, man. I mean, you ready to maybe put on some weight? Are you comfortable kind of in space, stand up as an outside back?
well, honestly, I love playing in space just because I love running east to west. Like I said, I ran track and I ran the 400 all my life. So the fourth quarter, when people are really just getting tired, I feel like that's when I get stronger. And even that can come into play with pass rushing too. Though you figuring out those tackles, what they like to do that first half, and then the second half, you're just trying to drain their energy with every move you can and set it up for the one or two sacks you will or can get a game. So I like both. I love playing football. You know.
No, I hear you. Of course, finished out your time there at Utah State and, decided what the heck, man, let me come back home and let me play at Baylor. Uh, First off, man, talk about like the transfer portal, man. I mean, you hit it twice, and
Yeah.
you ultimately ended up at a place that was closer to home. Let's be real. It's kind of nice to be able to come back home a little bit, so your family can maybe see you a little bit more often. But how was the transfer portal maybe second go around?
The second go round is definitely a little bit more ruthless than the first go round. You have something called non-committable offers, which a school can offer you, but you obviously can't commit because it'll be they're looking at two other players. So there's a few schools that I had offers in January when I first entered the portal, and I showed up to their facility 2:15 instead of 2:45, and that's when they said, okay, we're going to offer somebody else, but we're going to have you in our back pocket, which kind of is deflating, coming from Utah State being I feel like a star player, could play the run at 2:15, could pass rush at 2:15. But I definitely understood and could respect that those programs wanted me to be way more. And that's something that I had to take to the chin. And I was in the portal for 6 months. And I missed spring ball, missed a little bit. I was going to miss a little bit of summer camp, and I was actually going to just declare for the XFL. And then Baylor came the last week or two when the portal was about to close and getting ready for summer workouts, and they said, "Hey, we gonna offer you a scholarship." And I say, "Is it committable?" No, don't give me no non-committable offer. And they say, "Yeah, it's committable." So I went up there with Coach David Randa, and I committed on the spot. I said, "Let's sign the paperwork before y'all change y'all mind. Let's get this going."
Awesome. Again, it feels nice to come home a little bit, but also playing you know, in one of the best conferences that you can. I mean, you're playing up against, some of the best, there in the Big 12. Again, coming back home, so to speak. So a little different, but still Division One, of course. So, I mean, you're playing against some great guys. Also playing with some excellent talent there too. I mean, you're kind of in a room with some very successful edge rushers there at Baylor. Um, Talk about maybe the relationship there amongst your peers and like, when you did get a chance, to get out there, like how it worked out.
It was fun. It was a blessing. I had Garmin Randolph, which is he's a 6'7" pass rusher, so of course he has longer arms. He's a little bit taller. So I got to learn from him how to use my length. Because at Utah State, all I could do is just play around with what I know. But seeing him and seeing how he uses his length, that helped me translate some of my pass rush moves. And then you got T.J. Franklin, which he's smooth as butter. He'll catch you off guard with his quickness. He doesn't look like a twitchy guy, but TJ is definitely somebody that you need to watch out for if you're a tackle, or he'll put his hand in there, play three tech. If you're a guard, you might want to don't blink because your quarterback will be on the floor. And then Gabe Hall, he was a dog in the trenches. He was a bigger guy, could take on that double team, and obviously would open up the one-on-ones with the pass rushers when you have the tackle. And it was fun. It got real fun when you realize, okay, it's a five-man protection. The running back is trying to chip one of the edges. And that's where you really just get to play with the tackle because the tackle know he has help. But if you can get him to stop his feet, that could be an easy bull rush or, slip the crack between the running back and the tackle. So those guys definitely helped me uh, expand my pass rush moves. And also Coach DJ, he was the head honcho of getting people right when it comes to pass rushing. So yeah, I had fun with those guys for sure.
I mean, certainly it had to help your game at the very least. I was also thinking there for a bit that there might be a little healthy competition.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
hey, who's going to get to the guy first, so to speak?
Mm-hmm.
And again, you guys are rotating out, and it's like
Yeah,
you're never getting like the second tier guy. You're
yeah,
always getting like, it's like the starter A, starter B, starter C. Like, you guys are really killing it out there, being really an incredible, line in general. You'd spoken about Gabe Hall, who really just takes over, that
Yeah.
deep line and takes up those double teams so that guys like you can make plays. So,
Most definitely.
Byron, do want to at least mention a little bit about what our scouts had to say about you because we did see you a handful of times this past season. Again, we're looking at again, got to highlight the size, excellent size, 34-inch arms, 83-inch wingspan, awesome there, quality pass rusher, solid lateral agility and use of hands, and also plays with a good motor. Do you think that kind of fits you, or do you have any response to those sorts of comments, or anything more you got to say about yourself as a prospect?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like one of my biggest things is having that motor and being able to run down on special teams and actually loving special teams. It's hard to block a guy that's 6'4", 240 that can run up to 23 miles per hour. So, when I see a cornerback trying to block me or receiver, I'm like, oh yeah, I got you all game. It's gonna be a fun day. So I definitely feel like I play with a great motor. And definitely when you have guys next to you that have that same motor, it's just like it's a train that don't need coal, that don't need electricity power. That train is running off will and want. So being around guys that want to play football and love it definitely make me play a little bit harder for them.
You had mentioned really the next thing that I wanted to talk about, and that is that you are a very experienced guy on special teams. I mean, we're looking at a guy who can, like you said, I mean, at 6'4", 230, 240 pounds, is you don't want a guy like that hitting you on special. I mean, because if he does get to you, you might not get up.
Yeah, most
Real.
definitely.
So uh, yeah, I mean, that just kind of adds another layer to you as a prospect. So, a guy that can go out there and challenge for a block on special teams and run down, on returns and such. I mean, that's an amazing asset for a guy trying to make it at the next level.
Most
Um,
definitely.
Byron, I know you've been a part of a lot of great teams over the years, a lot of great moments, great games. Chat with me about some of your favorites, maybe own personal highlights or best game.
Yeah, my favorite game personally, which might sound crazy, was Air Force. When we played at Utah State, it kind of shows a lot of people kind of question my run ability, but I mean that's all Air Force does is run the ball. So I got to show my strength and how my understanding of football when it comes to Air Force and how to stop. You can stop a triple option, you can stop an inside zone, you can stop a stretch because that triple option you got to do your job, and it also gives you a little bit of tweak where okay I can do my job, but if I know the play is coming, I could like they say play green. So if I know that this option is coming, I'm going to bite on the dive with the intentions. I don't care if the running back has the ball on the dive or not. I'm ready to play the pitch. So Air Force was a great game that I definitely had fun in. Got to play up in Logan, Utah, and then the Mountain West Championship. That was, just playing for a championship, winning MVP, and having that team specifically. I think it was about 15 to 20 transfers that came in, and all those guys really they wanted to leave their senior year with a bang. So that time at Utah State, it was a blast. I wouldn't say I had too many like my favorite games. I tend to beat myself up a lot. The Big 12 they throw the ball quick, so you get pressured, but you don't get sacks how you really want to. Utah State when your pass rush is kind of fighting double teams a lot. So it was a lot of stuff I really wish I could have worked on, but I'm gonna say Utah State, it was Air Force and then San Diego State were my two favorite having fun, play loose games. And then Utah when I was at Baylor because I got to play. I thought Cam Rising was going to play. We started off at Texas together, um, and I had a few more guys that I knew on the team of Utah. It was just fun talking smack to him, getting to see him. Good
Cool.
time.
Well, definitely talked a lot about having to be disciplined, having to play assignment ball, of course, when you're playing against teams that are run heavy. I mean, that's key. And obviously, if you shut that down, then that's half the game right there, man. I mean, that
Yeah.
certainly, helps you out. Um, but Byron definitely put together some solid games, solid film, really solid career overall. And that really culminated with opportunities, man. You got a whole lot of opportunities after then. I mean, you ended up going to the CGS as well as the Tropical Bowl. Give me some of your I don't know, thoughts, highlights, or anything about those events, man, because obviously they put you in a great spot to be able to you know, link up with the
Showcase.
people,
Yeah.
network and even get interviewed.
Yeah. The time at those ball games are always fun. One thing that I would say for any football player that is watching this, you have to realize that you're taking a month off from your bowl game to the CGS. Don't take a full month off like I did, because when you get to CGS, they'll expect you to be in shape, ready for football, and that's something that I just didn't prepare myself for because I didn't know the level of intensity that it would be. But once again, it was. I mean, once you get there, your body's doing the same thing it's been doing. It's hurting a little bit. You're a little tired. It's a little cold outside, but it's always an opportunity to play football, and especially when you got over 50 scouts, and you know, I mean, that's the biggest blessing right there is being able to play in front of those teams. And they say all you need is one opportunity. So from CGS to the Tropical Bowl, I got to link up with some friends from Utah State that we all transferred and went our separate ways. And linking back up with old friends is always a blessing, because it's like they got the same opportunity you did. Uh, the scouts are talking to them just like they're talking to me. And my biggest thing, I love seeing my people around me grow and prosper. So the CGS and Tropical, in my opinion, were definitely a fun experience. I wish I'd have got the Reese's Senior Bowl just for the level of competition. There's everybody's D2, D1, small D1s at the CGS, and you have some D1s obviously at Tropical. Uh, but in my eyes, I wanted the best of the best. But every opportunity is one. It opens a door for somebody. So that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get that. I mean, I think a lot of people, I mean, if you're, very competitive, and you are very critical about yourself, I mean, dude, you always
Yeah,
want to play with the best. And
yeah,
so I completely understand that. And, Byron, overall, I do think that you've had a lot of great experience. I mean, you've been able to put together the tape, and you've been able to, participate in two all-star events, man, which not everybody has an opportunity to do. So definitely puts you in a position where uh, scouts are seeing everything you got, man. And so you also were one of the guys who participated in the first ever Big 12
Big 12.
Pro Day, man, which had
Yeah.
to be kind of crazy. Talk to me about all of that and how it works for you.
The Big 12 Pro Day was a fun experience. We're waiting for them to post a film that they had all the cameras around. We can't seem to find any videos of the offensive linemen, linebackers, defensive linemen. So it was fun in the aspect, like I said again, got to do it at home in front of the Cowboys, in front of all those scouts, in front of family. It did allow it to be open to the public, which a lot of people didn't have their pro day open to the public. So I feel like that was definitely one of the biggest blessings. I had my lifelong friends there. I had family there. Once again, I wasn't happy with my numbers. I mean, there's always room for improvement in this stuff. Right when I got done with my 40, right when I got done with my 40, I said, man, I felt myself pop up. We've been training 10 weeks not to pop up. Felt myself pop up. Bench press, I didn't really warm up. I'm like, my nerves were getting to me. So I'm like, okay, let's just get this out the way. Uh, Went out there and I've been hitting 18 at, like throughout the weeks when I'm training 18, 19. But I went out there and cold, cold as a car that's brand new that's been sitting in the winter, and I did 12 on bench. Uh, was definitely it hurt my feelings, but I heard the scout say, "Oh, you got long arms, you're gonna be okay." But just in my, I had bigger goals for myself. I feel like I definitely underachieved, but when I'm saying myself, I feel like I underachieved the goals that I had set. But talking to my agent and a few of the scouts, they were definitely impressed with what I went out there and did. So uh, somebody saw what I did as good work. So I'll take that as a win.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. I mean, there's a lot about you and your game that's very unique. Um, you do offer some versatility, which is good. I mean, and in some ways, you're still growing. And
Yeah,
we may not have yet seen what you can bring to the table. And so who knows? Maybe you're not at the size that maybe a pro wants you to be. Maybe somebody wants you to be like 20 extra pounds or something. Or
most
maybe
definitely.
they're fine with you, out there as an outside linebacker, as a special teams contributor, who can do a whole lot of those things that we talked about. But definitely feel like you have put yourself in a position where it is possible that you might hear your name called during the draft. Maybe
Yeah.
late day three. Certainly possible.
Mhm.
So let's not beat ourselves up. Um,
Yeah.
we have been at it for a little bit. Do need to finish up our time, which has been great. Uh, I want you, as we close up, to just kind of talk directly to all those scouts who may still have some questions as to whether or not they're going to give you that chance. So tell them why they need to give you that chance and bring you into their team. Go for it.
Well, for number one, I say if you watch the film, when everybody's questioning my weight at Utah State and how I take on blockers, you'll see that I'm relentless. You'll see that I don't care how big you are. I'm gonna drop my chest into you. I'm gonna put my shoulder into you. I play with heart. I got a whole lot of it. I'm gonna talk that smack. You feel me? If you don't like me talking smack, then you need to get somebody to stop me from talking smack. So I got a motor that a lot of people don't. I have a motor that I know I'm always have. I have attributes and qualities. I'm coachable. I've been getting cussed out from little league coaches until I'm grown. So I take that as passion and care from the coaches. So if you want somebody with a dog, you want somebody that's gonna run down on teams and leave you 4 extra spots for kickoff return to bring 4 extra people. I'm definitely that guy. And you can line anybody up in front of me, and I'm gonna give them the blues.
Yeah, you can't teach heart. You can't teach some of the things that you just chatted about. Byron, I know this is kind of crazy time, but I do wish you all the best with it. I know
Yes,
you
sir.
have a lot
Thank
of
you.
other things going. You going to local days too?
Yes, sir. I had the local days of the Cowboys this past weekend, this past Monday.
Awesome. Definitely fun. Again, do wish you all the best. Once again, I
Thank
got
you.
with me Byron Vaughns, edge rusher out of Baylor. Check this guy out if you haven't already.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Now, hopefully, the Commanders will come talk to me. We can be good friends.
Sure.